Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Toffees on this, the 10th day of November. My name is Toffees, as always, bringing you the morning report. You can follow me at Toffees_Dota2 for updates on upcoming matches, tournaments, all of that fun stuff, as well as this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you like the show, you can catch it on podcast. You can catch it over on SoundCloud.com/Toffees_Dota2. And that has literally all of our shows, links to all of our different avenues to get it, including YouTube, RSS, and podcast feeds. And if you want to support the show, if you want to keep the sponsors out, if you want to keep me doing this day in and day out, please head over to patreon.com/Toffees. It's patreon.com/Toffees and help support the show. We decided to go non-sponsor, supporter only, community based. And if you want to throw $1 into the pot to help us keep the show running, we would love and appreciate it. That said, we're about $20 away from releasing the t-shirt, the Coffee with Toffees t-shirt that'll be available once we hit $75. It's the next stretch goal over on the Patreon, so head over, give us the support. We appreciate, we love every ounce of giving that comes from you. And a big shout out when I say we to Snuggies at Snuggies Dota. He is a standing producer for the show right now. Helps out when he can. It is a free, unpaid job, as is all of this. So if we do, however, get that Patreon to 100, then we get to give him a little bit of cash to make up for his time commitment that we both put a lot into the show. But that's enough for plugs. Let's move into the show itself. It's going to be a bit of a short show today. We don't have a ton going on in the news. We don't have a guest this morning. However, we do have a surprise. And for those of you who are watching live, you may make it back at 12 o'clock this afternoon, because I'll be sitting down with PPD, the captain of Evil Geniuses, to just chat. We'll talk about his past, we'll talk about his future, Redditor questions, a whole bunch of fun stuff for a nice short pre-record for Wednesday's show. So if you don't catch the show live, that's totally okay. Just make sure you check out the podcast on Wednesday morning, where we will have the interview actually aired for you guys at that point. So that's the time to check that one out. That said, let's get into Pro News. The first thing up on the Pro News docket is this one, and it's a biggie. Scandal leaves Virtus Pro Polar. Now, when this happened, it was a complete surprise, because apparently, and I don't know the details of it, a lot of it was published in Russian, so I couldn't read the original. I got to go off of what Gozu and Join Dota published, but at the end of the day, Scandal just stopped communicating with the team and disappeared, so they kicked him. But I mean, at the end, it's a little worrisome anytime that you hear of a player from an Eastern Bloc, anywhere for that matter, especially Eastern Bloc teams, that just disappear. So he stopped communicating, he stopped talking, and that's it. They kicked him from the team. Hope he's okay. But that leaves VPP, a team that was competing very strongly, a team that made it to like third place in the Summit too, European qualifiers, down to 3 men on the roster. All they have left is DK Phobos, Illidan, and Lil Hardy. And let's be completely honest with you, those are the 3 names that were the least well known when VP Polar came to be. The loss of Go Black, the loss of Scandal is going to be devastating, and I don't know how VP gets back from this. There are rumors, and Gozu's put it up there, says Mag is a hot prospect to come back on board after he recently was departed his team. There's a couple of floaters out there right now who are available, but at the end of the day, I don't know if VPP recovers from this second blow. So, unfortunate. We'll keep an eye on how that one develops. Next piece of information, Mineski is back together again. They've got a team after the scandal, the 3-2-2 debacle of 2 weeks ago. The new roster, JJ, RR, Jay, Owa, and Johnny. So, bit of repetition, the first couple of names, Owa and Johnny, the big ones right there, who look like they should be a lot of fun. The team looks good, but at the end of the day, there's a whole lot for them to put in the past, get past the scandals, all these things associated that obviously, can bring a team down. So I'm curious to see how Mineski does. It's good to have the team back. It's great. They're a big name down in SCA Dota. Unfortunate about the past and the 3-2-2 scandals. Hopefully this new 5-man roster can A, keep it clean, and B, get some wins. Next one up, this is a big one for me. I'm kind of excited about it. Team eHug has returned to Pro Dota. So Team eHug, you may remember, before it was Jigglebelly, Justin, Cakes, I'm a Sheep Sucks, and Pandago that sort of led the charge with that team previously before its disbanding. I know that Rai Ubruz was there for a little while as well. And then EHUG just sort of fell to nothing. They got an invite to the qualifiers for TI and didn't do well, and that was the end of that. That's the last we heard of them. I've been trying to get the creators of EHUG, the owners, on the show for the last 4 months saying, hey, come on, tell us your story, let us know what happened. They still won't respond, and they kind of like that whole Wizard of Oz sort of be a man behind the curtain sort of deal. That said, though, they have signed a new team. You guys remember we did an interview here on the show with Infinity Plus 4, Naroc, SNA, Infinity's new team, all those guys, like a really nice roster. Well, apparently EHUG took notice, and that is going to be their new team. Naroc was talking about the fact that they had a new sponsor on the horizon, and they were working out the details, and this looks like that's what it's going to be. So the new roster is MJW, SNA, Lust, Infinity, and it looks like they have not named the 5th yet. So wonder if there was an issue with one of the players or not. It should. Interesting. So waiting on to finalize that. Let's actually check a different website real quick and see if they've got the EHUG roster fully fleshed out, because, you know, that's an important thing to have. So, Infinity Plus 4 are going to be one of those teams that I think was an up-and-coming North American team. I talked about it on the show. It seems to me like, and no, they don't. Neither one has the 4th roster listed. So, interesting. We'll wait and get the final lineup from them. I know they've got it. It should be a pretty good team. But they were an up-and-coming team. They're one of my picks for North American to watch in the next year. And it's nice to see that they got a sponsor so quickly. Hopefully it works out this time around for EHUG. And this is an open invitation, by the way, to the EHUG management team to come on board and talk about the organization and what happened before and where it's going now anytime that you want to, because I know the fans would love to hear that. Let's talk about tournament news, rolling into that one. First thing that I thought was the most interesting and I'm excited about is a new tournament was announced by Twitch TV yesterday. It's called the Double Trouble Tour, which, hey, that sounds fun with rhymes and alliteration. Why not? Featuring pros and personalities. So they're actually playing for emoticons for their Twitch channels, which I thought was hilarious. And the teams are going to be this: Sing Sing and LD, Puppy versus and Cyborg Matt, Big Daddy and Pyrian Flax, and Dendy and Total Biscuit. So that's going to be the actual teams that will be playing against each other in I think it's a 2v2 mid-only matches. So it'll be 2v2 duo mids, which should be pretty hilarious. And a lot of fun. It'll be a best-of-5 grand final, double elimination best-of-3 bracket on the actual tournament day. And this will be held on November 15th. Remember, it's just for Pride. It's for Twitch emoticons. But it actually sounds like it'll be a lot of fun to watch. So check that out, November 15th. It doesn't say what channel it's going to be streamed on, so I will keep an eye on that and let you guys know. I assume it'll be on like the main Twitch channel as they're bringing the whole event together, but you know, you can never tell. So we'll watch that one for you. Next one is First Departure is headed to LA. They make a massive comeback against Team Malaysia. These guys did good the first time they played Malaysia. Then they got knocked out, sent to the losers bracket, earned their way back into the final playoff, up against Team Malaysia, went down 2-0, and then came back to win the whole thing. So these guys, First Departure, will be headed to the Summit LAN in LA, and I want to say this: First Departure apparently switching back to that old roster. Remember, we talked about this last week. They are basically Scythe Gaming from 2012. It's working out for them because they're already going to their first major LAN with the new team. So kudos to those guys, because that is a big win for them, in my humble opinion, is that that prize pool is getting pretty gosh darn sexy for the Summit too. Next one that I thought was interesting is the European qualifiers. Secret beats Cloud9 to secure their position in the Summit LAN, but beat is the operative word, man, because it went 3-0. There was a Rax in 13 minutes. Like, it was... how do you say brutal in French? Because that's, I guess, exactly what it was. I don't even know French, but it was a brutal, brutal game. And Secret definitely proved their dominance. Cloud9, unfortunately, again, always the bridesmaids, never the brides. All right, I believe it is Nate Dogg over in Twitch chat asking if Hi is on First Departure. So Team Secret gets out with a very nice win. Props to Virtus Pro Polar finishing in 3rd place as they made a good run, man. But once again, I hope that's not the last time we see you. So that's the advance on Secret. Now, Secret with another piece of news. They've pulled out of D2L. AC put out an official notice on the webpage that said due to scheduling conflicts, Secret has had to remove itself from D2L. And that's frustrating. I mean, Secret was one of the biggest draws for the D2L tournament. And it's a hard tournament to see someone back out of. It was going to be a small-time final. They were in first place. Grand final was going to be in Las Vegas at Caesars Palace. Should have been a good time. But apparently, Secret just can't do it, doesn't want to do it, isn't able to do it. And upside, though, SNA, up-and-coming North American team that has been proving themselves over and over again that they deserve to be considered one of those Tier 1 teams, gets the invite instead. So Sneaking X Assassins will take over. They're taking on their schedule and begin playing first thing in the morning. Actually, it's today. They start playing today now that I think about it. So they will make their debut on D2L, I believe, today with AC Casting, and it should be on this evening. So an unfortunate loss. I mean, and honestly, that's a blow for D2L. Like, I love SNA. I think that they're a great team. In fact, I had Whitebeard on for some co-casting last night, but they're not Secret. Team Secret right now, arguably the #1 team in the world, and a huge fan draw to get these to get people out to the D2L over in Las Vegas. And losing them is a pretty massive hit. It's like losing one of your headliners. So it's a bummer to hear that happen, but it is what it is, and I'm glad Sneaking X Assassins, if a team gets to step in, that they do. All right, now moving forward, TM and Invasion qualify for the Synergy LAN. Synergy's been going on for a little while and joined Dota. The qualifiers so far are Invasion, VG, Newbie, Team Empire, Hellraisers, Aftershock, and now Team Malaysia. So, when you look at the lineup, you can argue pretty aggressively that the Chinese team should have no problem winning this $50,000. That will go up as tickets sell. Probably for the LAN, they should pick up some good ticket sales, especially with VG and Newbie being in the list. That said, though, the SEA teams look strong compared to the other teams besides the Chinese teams. So it should be I am going to go out on a limb and say that the bracket is going to be Asian controlled, and it should be a pretty interesting tournament. Curious to see who the last TBD is when the finals come out for that Synergy tournament. Now that's it for tournament news regarding Dota 2, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend, and that was BlizzCon went on. They had a big reveal of some new games that look terrible. I mean, they don't look terrible. They're not my cup of tea. Overwatch in particular was way too frenetic. If I wanted to play Team Fortress, I would just play Team Fortress. But I love Blizzard, so I gotta support what they're doing. And the big winner, Firebat, if you're a Hearthstone lover, won the Grand World Championship of Hearthstone on a set that was crazy and very interesting. So he took that big win there. Heroes of the Storm had a show match for the first time ever. Cloud9 goes ahead and wins it, followed shortly after by an announcement by Blizzard that they are adding spectator or caster modes into Heroes of the Storm, as well as a ranking system as soon as they possibly can. So it sounds like Heroes of the Storm will go competitive. The question is it a good enough game to truly go competitive? And last but not least, the StarCraft Grand Final played out. And, oh man, hold on a second. Off the top of my head, I just literally had it written down and forgot. The champion for StarCraft at BlizzCon, can't type, was Meta, if I remember correctly. It was actually a really good game. I'm sorry, it was WCS Global Finals. They hosted it at BlizzCon and made for one heck of a tournament, but the overall winner ended up being, there it is, Life beat MMA 4-1. And Life played out of his mind well. MMA did well too, but if you didn't watch StarCraft at all, you should go check out the finals here. It's on YouTube for the WCS. If you don't, you should watch it anyway, because I don't play StarCraft, but I was blown out of my mind at how cool, or just how thought-provoking these players are. They're so smart. The way that they play is so impressive. Their amount of micro is just mind-blowing. And Life and MMA both were not expected to be in the finals, so a little bit of a comeback story for them. So a little extra esports gusto for you today. If you're a fan of Warlords of Draenor, for World of Warcraft, that comes out in like 2 days, so Blizzard having a huge release week. When you couple that with the announcement of Overwatch, there are a lot of games coming on the pipeline for Blizz. So it looks like BlizzCon looks like they want to get into the competitive space with Dota 2. So look for some mix-ups and some big money investments there in the future. That's it, guys. That's all the news that we have for today. Make sure that if you are live and you're around at 12 o'clock this afternoon, you come on by the stream where we'll be sitting down with PPD. If not, make sure you catch the Wednesday show for that interview integrated into the rest of the show. The pre-record system we have is the only day off that he had, so he said he agreed graciously to come on the show during his day off, and we thank him, obviously, for that. Finally, remember, my name is Toffees. If you like the show, you can follow me at Toffees_Dota2. And if you want to support the show, keep the sponsors out, keep it grassroots the way that we like it, get over to patreon.com/Toffees and donate whatever you feel is right, because that helps keep the show on the air. Last but not least, we did start a chat channel over in Steam. If you want to join it, the chat is literally coffee.w/Toffees. And I'm there chatting when I can, so if you have suggestions or ideas for a show and you see me pop into that chat channel, all you have to do is let me know, and I'd love to chat with the fans. So that's the idea. We'll invite you to the guild from there, and then play some games whenever I'm available. So that said, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Come back later today. We'll see you on Wednesday's show. That's your news. My name's Toffees, and as always, Toffees out.